All right, today's coordinator day during minicamp, so we get a chance to hear from offensive coordinator Bob Cooter talking about the quarterback position principally because that is the place. Look, we can talk about the offensive line forever, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, whatever. But it's the quarterback that makes the whole thing go. And without the right quarterback, you got no chance in this league. Is Daniel Jones the right quarterback? We kind of get an inkling as to what Bob Cooter thinks about that.
I imagine you watched a lot of film of Daniel Jones when you guys were considering him, but now that he's been in the building for these couple months, what are there some new things that you've learned?
Yeah, he's been just excellent in meetings, practice preparation. We're sort of learning our defensive scheme together and working through some of that stuff with him as you go that route as a coaching staff in a quarterback or quarterback room. Ideas get created, ideas get thought of. We have those discussions. Do we want to try that today? Do we want to do that? Can we put that in? Can we adjust this route a certain way? Those are common discussions in quarterback rooms around the league. So to hear his ideas and his thoughts and have him be a part of that has been really, really interesting. He puts in the work sort of early and late. He's out there communicating with his teammates, trying to put his best foot forward and have his best practice while also sort of leading the group. So been a good start. We got a lot of work left to do, and he knows that. We all know that. He's done a nice job of coming in and putting the work in, preparing to go sort of execute in practice. And these days in OTAs, you have usually about 3 practices a week. So you get 3 really good opportunities to prepare and execute in practice. And then, when you do that well a few times in a row, builds a little confidence. You're able to go get a little bit more aggressive, and we've seen a little bit of that as we've gone through the weeks.
Bob, did you have any? You knew of Daniel Jones before you got here, but have you seen something different? Have you learned something different, or is this sort of what you anticipated?
Well, we did our due diligence, calling around, background type stuff. Some of us know people that have worked with him or been around him or coached him or played with him, and we were sort of asking all those questions and trying to dig in, because with any player we bring in here, we try to do the background and make sure we know sort of what kind of guy we're bringing in, what his work habits are like, preparation, leadership, communication, teamwork, all that good stuff. Daniel had a lot of good notes coming through that, but we're always interested when you get a guy in the building. What do you see? He's been as advertised with the work habits and the preparation and going about his business, just day in, day out consistency, which has been great. It's obviously early. It's I don't know if you call it spring anymore, but it's about the end of sort of the spring season here for us as an NFL team. We'll come back in training camp, and gosh, we'll learn a ton about him, but everybody on our team. That'll be a really, really fun process. But he's done a great job thus far, and really sort of lived up to the billing of those type of things.
You said you were calling around. This was after you go ahead and sign him, just to get like.
No, as you're doing prep, as you're evaluating a free agent class or a draft class or any of those things, as a coaching staff, we watch tape, we write up the film, we have our thoughts on the player that we see on tape, but we like going into the weeds a little bit on what kind of person he is and his work habits and his consistency and all those things. So whether it's having someone that's been on staff when he's been playing, or just someone he's played with that we respect, in this league you end up knowing a bunch of people, and they know you and they know them, and you're able to get a feel for a lot of guys that you bring onto your team, because you want to make sure you're doing the right thing for the organization that way.
We talked about some areas of growth for him. What do you see specifically with that? When you got here, you said there were some steps you needed to take as a player. What would you pinpoint as areas that he needs to grow in?
Right now, area number 1 is sort of focusing on learning and mastering the offense that we have. We've got some different verbiage. We've got some different teammates that he's working with. For a quarterback, you want to have mastery of the information, and when you hear something the first time, you learn it, and I think as you rep it, as you refine it, as you dive into the details on it, at a certain point you master it. I don't think any NFL team is mastering their offense during the spring. It's going to come. It's going to be a part of a process, especially if you're a new player in that offense. So that's a very big part of any quarterback preparing for their role in the upcoming season. He's working hard on that. Other than that, we're working on developing him as a player the same way we are everybody, and everybody's got their little things. Quarterback-wise, we can sort of harp on a bunch of different technique things, which I don't want to individualize here in this situation. But we're working through a bunch of stuff. The most important thing is sort of learning our offense, learning his teammates, and then us as a coaching staff doing a good job of sort of putting those guys in a good position to do that over the next couple months, especially when we get to training camp.
It's unfortunate it's unfortunate what AR is going through, but the silver lining, Daniel's getting more work. Is it going to sort of accelerate his simulation into the offense or not?
It's the reps are really, really important. I think the truth of the matter is we were going to get a bunch of reps for both of those guys. Daniel's still going to receive a bunch of reps. I think that bunch versus bunch number is probably a little bit more, but not a ton. He's going to get a little more work with the first group, which is important when you're getting to know your receivers and working with your offensive line and all those things. So there will be some benefits there for him for sure. It is unfortunate for Anthony, but it's part of the game, and Anthony's been doing a really good job staying involved, staying mentally locked in, and working like crazy to get the mental reps out there, which is what he can do at this moment.
Does that mean that Riley Leonard is going to benefit and get more reps?
Yeah, the reps are going to go. The reps are going to sort of get maneuvered around in the quarterback room. Anytime you have an injury at any position, other guys in that room are going to pick up a few reps. Riley's going to get a few extra reps. Jason Bean's going to get a few extra reps. I'm going to say the word rep a lot of times today, but any rep that we can get a young player, we're really excited about. It's good. It's great for a quarterback. Shoot, I'm excited about young receivers and young offensive linemen. Everybody getting reps. So reps have a lot of value, and for a Riley Leonard, a Jason Bean, any of these guys, a Tyler Warren, I'm a young player. I get an extra rep or two. That's going to be good for me, and I think it's going to be good for Riley to have a few extra reps.
There's Steven and Matt. A.D. Mitchell, we talked to him. He seems like he's in a good headspace, but look, he does need to take a step, right? So what specifically do you need him to do this year to be that player you guys think he?
Yeah, he's had an exciting start to the offseason. He's been really playing good football out there, getting open, making catches. It's a consistency thing, like Shane's talked about with our offense, with our team, with a lot of our guys. It's attacking each day with consistency, going out there and if you're A.D. Mitchell and you have some really good ability to go get open and make great catches. Well, that's going to be the expectation day in, day out. He's done a really nice job. He's had a great attitude attacking this spring. He's had some opportunities in practice, and he's made the most of those things, and those will keep coming. As we go through a training camp, you guys will know, guys will get a bunch of different reps with a bunch of different groups and several different quarterbacks sometimes. And that's a lot of times where you as a receiver can make your impact, because as you keep making those plays, as you consistently make those plays, you can be relied on to make those plays. The quarterbacks are going to be excited to give you the opportunities to make those plays because they know, shoot, there's my 20-yard completion. I can hit A.D. Mitchell on this deep out route right here. He's going to be open. He's going to make that play. He's going to get his feet in bounds. It's a consistency thing, which, like I said, he's doing an excellent job right now. We're going to push our entire offense to be extremely consistent with how we work the rest of this mini camp, but then all of training camp. We're looking for guys that sort of day in, day out are doing really, really good work, giving their best and executing at the best that they have the ability to do. Like I said, AD's been really, really good thus far, and you guys have always sort of heard me betting on AD. I'm still betting on AD, but we're gonna keep pushing him to have great practices every single day. And shoot, we want him to make every play. I want him to make every play. He wants to make every play. We're going to keep pushing in that direction and see where we end up.
Last question.
Jim, Shane said that one of the biggest reasons why he brought in Lou and for this defense, because it's one of the defenses that he had some of the most troubles going up against in terms of game action. Now that you're seeing it every day, how much do you think that's helping the overall offense become more sharp because you're seeing it, the tough scheme day in, day out in practice?
Yeah, we're working through a bunch of different looks, whether it be certain different front structure, certain different pressure packages that are really beneficial for us as an offense, and it's going to continue to be that way through training camp. I think when you get stressed in different ways, offensively, schematically, you have to figure out ways to solve those problems, solve those stresses, whether it's just, sort of our protection unit picking up a blitz, or us as a coaching staff finding a schematic way to put our guys in a position to have a shot at success on a play. Those things stress you, and those things make you better. Ultimately, we think that's going to make us better as an offense. We just did a big old long walkthrough. There was a ton of different looks, a ton of different things going on. A lot of things for our guys to try to maybe pick up a blitz or block a run play the right way and communicate the right way versus a different front. Those types of things. That's only going to make us better as we approach the fall. There's a long way to go to get there, but it's a good opponent schematically for us to really work through some different stuff. And obviously our guys on defense play so hard that they're gonna work us physically as well. So it's gonna be a great finish to the spring and a great training camp.
One last thing. What did you guys see with Desmond Ritter to bring him in to see what he's got?
Yeah, Desmond's been around the league a little bit, played a little bit, really respected guy in different locker rooms. I think goes about his business the right way. Just an opportunity for us to get him in here and let him work a little bit individual, maybe a couple reps here or there, kind of see what all he's got. And that's one of the benefits of a veteran mini camp like this. You have the opportunity to do that at some different positions, and we were excited to get him in here and let him kind of compete with these other guys and throw a few balls in individual quarterbacks and kind of see what he's made of. So, all right, appreciate y'all.
Thanks.
There's Jim Bob Cooter. Good question by Mike Chappell toward the end about Desmond Ritter, because he was out at minicamp yesterday in a tryout situation. A guy who has started games in the NFL over his 3-year career, played for the Falcons, played for the Raiders, kind of an interesting guy. This is a team that lacks a little bit of proven, quarterback depth if Anthony Richardson can't play. Daniel Jones, if he's a starter, do you feel comfortable with a guy like Riley Leonard as your backup, or Jason Bean? So, interesting question. Good to hear the answer from Jim Bob Cooter, and good to hear that he kind of likes the way Daniel Jones is going about his business, because it looks like week 1, unless something not miraculous, but something unforeseen happens at this point with Anthony Richardson, it's going to be Daniel Jones against the Miami Dolphins at Lucas Oil Stadium.